please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And boy, bloody cold here in Israel today. Oh, we've had a cold snap. Look, this normally happens before the holiday of Purim, which is on Wednesday night, Thursday here in Israel, when everybody gets very drunk. There's a lot of drinking. And Purim, it's like a religious obligation. What can I tell you? Anyway, so normally the weather tends to get better. What happens is the weather gets better a little bit. Winter starts to end. Then you get the last hurrahs of it. And we say that it's the good Lord keeping one inside, during Purim, so we don't get too crazy with our public drunkenness. And maybe that's true. I don't know. Anyway, so this kind of thing normally has boy, it's bloody cold. I think I got sick. I was out too much of the cold yesterday. I was like, I think I legitimately got sick. I am aching from head to toe, which not in the good way. Not in the good way. But I've plugged myself full of not Advil. Nurofen. I've got this one video to do. I've got a live stream tonight. So hopefully, if I'm still feeling sick by the time I'm done with this, I might just take a few hours off and go to bed. Right? That sounds really bloody. Look, it's Sunday for me. So actually, Sunday's like Monday morning in Israel. But still, that might be my plan. I'm hoping to make it through the video. If I vomit onto the screen, I'll try and get a nice coverage of the. I'm not going to vomit. If I do, I'm probably going to cut it out. What am I saying? About like last week, I did cut it out. I started recording a video. And this is oftentimes when I say something's true, it means I'm lying. This one I'm actually telling the truth about. Okay, like I always have to. Whenever I go, true story, never believe me. Okay, but this one is actually true. I started recording a video, and I got about 2 or 3 minutes into it, and I looked in the I looked in the little screen they have in front of me, where I see myself, and I saw a big booger hanging out my nose, right? So I first I tried to front it out, like I just wiped it away, and then I said, there's no way you can front that out. So then I thought I'll lean into it. That was plan B, and like go, hey, did you see that? And then a minute later I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna start again. Okay, so if I vomit on the camera, on screen, I will probably edit it out. I'm sorry. Listen, if you want those outtakes, then you have to join my Substack. that will get subscribers. What is my Substack? I hear you ask. It's my email newsletter. Also, they give you kind of a website with it. Anyway, you keep up to date with all my comings and goings. And I put out lots of. I'm trying to put out comics on it. Last week was not a good week. This week I am highly optimistic. I've also got a complete collection of the forgotten era of Doctor Who, the New Adventure era, the novels, which I loved in the 90s. Freaking adored them. I thought they're the best thing ever. I tried reading one of my favorite ones. Who was it? Written by Kate Orman, who vanished. Kate Orman just totally vanished from the created Doctor Who scene, which is a shame. She was a remarkably strong voice. But, and it was awful. It was like, this juvenile pap, I'm like, really? It just and with Doctor Who, you kind of liked it, but this thing, it felt like it was so grown up, and now I read it again and go, this is so juvenile. Oh my God, this is so, not juvenile, studenty, pretentious studenty. But I will put them out because they are great. They have some great Doctor Who going on there, which is it crushed me. It's a really wonderful era. I wish there was a way they would just release them as books on tapes or something. And because I think it's an era that deserves to be remembered, right? I do. I really think it's the era. So anyway, I'll be putting those things out as well on my Substack as PDFs. Can't get them anymore, right? Also, comics you can't get anymore. I got some of the old Blake 7 stuff. Anyway, sign up my Substack, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. All those other things are very, very good. Thank you very much. If you're subscribed on YouTube, please make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube does like to unsubscribe people. Although, weird thing is, I must have clicked something in the algorithm that I got to enough subscribers that they let me have more subscribers now, right? They give you it monthly. and they make you stick to that. There's not an organic growth at all. Like, so now I think they just moved me to the next level, which is very, very nice. I would like to get to the next level. That'd be much better. I'd like to get the level where we're all treated equally. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be crazy? No, it's 2022. Nobody gets treated equally anymore. Fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment, Substack. Oh, definitely comment. If I didn't say comment, definitely comment. Please let me know what you think. And if you comment, I will endeavour to reply to your comments, because I'm grateful, right? I'm great. If you engaging, I'm actually genuinely touched and grateful, right? So please hit the subscribe button. That'd be great. Okay, so did I even start talking about this video yet? No, I didn't, right? We live in strange times. We live in strange times that people screw up a lot, right? People screw up on a massive, massive scale, and there's different ways of dealing with it. I mean, now they just like blatantly lie. I mean, that was like the president of the United States who goes on TV and says, "No, the inflation that we've been having for since I come into office is nothing to do with me. It's all to do with Putin. It's a Putin price. Nothing. It's just, I mean, bare. And like, what can you do with a barefaced lie? If Chris Chibnall looks in the camera and says the low viewing figures is nothing. Oh no, they wouldn't even say that. They'll say the viewing figures are great. They're transitory. Or whatever bollocks they say. I don't even bloody know. So we're a little ahead of the curve here in fandom, in that what's going on in the greater world is been going on in fandom for a number of years, and now like pretty much everything. And I think we're not that far away from the real world as well. Reality is meeting the narrative, and the narrative is being blown apart, right? Absolutely blown apart. So the narrative has been this era of Doctor Who, the Jodie Whittaker era, is stunning and brave, the greatest thing ever. And if you don't like it, you're an icky wicky bigot, right? That's the only reason. That is the only possible reason why you couldn't adore Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. And if you don't, it's totally not Jodie's fault. She's an excellent actress, fantastic actress. All Chris Chibnall, the evil white male in the room. Yeah, that's essentially the narrative. The reality is they made garbage that nobody likes. The reason they made garbage is because it's completely disassociated from reality and designed as poor propaganda for an ideology that makes little to no sense, right? And honestly, I encourage anybody to look up the naughty National Socialists from the 1930s in Germany, their propaganda, because I've actually studied that quite a bit. One time, I don't remember this all my life. I went to this. I was on a team tour of Israel. I wasn't religious at the time, but it's kind of thing Jewish kids do. And one of the things they did, they took us to the Institute of was it propaganda or disinformation, and we spent a day there. Freaking fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And you saw they told you how you do it, and they showed it in real life, and it's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now I think it's kind of more blatant. So maybe I've just been red pilled to it at an early age. But the narrative that this Doctor has been great is just falling apart because everybody hates it. Every metric is, it's a disaster. The live rating for their big special, the New Year's special, was 2 million, right? The worst ratings it's ever got. Absolutely worst ratings. I recorded a video yesterday about comparing the 1980s cancellation to the 2020s non-cancellation, right? And how that actually happened. That probably went out on I think that went out on Monday, right? This video is probably going out on Wednesday. Again, I got to get ahead because they got this big Jewish holiday coming where you get drunk out your mind. So it might be a couple of days I'm out. It's like, let me tell you, kids, getting drunk when you're young, freaking easy peasy, no problem, right? You wake up the next day, shake it off, and move on. The minute you hit 35, and I'm in my 50s, right? The minute you hit 35, nothing is easy anymore. And now, oh my God, it feels like there's a knife planted directly in my brain. It's awful, right? I'm not a massive fan of that, and I feel it's not good. It's not. So if I do any videos on Friday and I look green, that's the reason why. Anyway. So narrative hitting reality. At some point, I'll get to Doctor Who. Okay, it's coming. Narrative hitting reality. And so what the Shield media has done, which has very much supported the narrative, is two things, right? The first thing, they go, no, we've always thought it was awful. No. We've always just hated it in every way, shape, or form. That's just the way it is, right? So that's version one. And then on the other side of the mouth, they will try and provide cover and say, no, it's always been awful in this way, right? So that's what we're going to be looking at this morning, or this evening for you, or this afternoon for you. It's morning for me, right? It's Sunday, 10:03 in the morning. This is how dedicated I am. Sunday, 10:03 in the morning, I'm making your bloody videos. Yes, that is what I do. Fine. So let's have a look at this first article from Looper. Both Looper and What Culture, both the sites I'm looking at today, both of them actually have really kind of well thought out articles on them. But they've done a lot of shilling, right? They've done a lot of shilling over the years. So this is from a couple of days ago. The Doctor Who episode that still has fans scratching their heads. Which one? I mean, like, I'm thinking, we have a lot of different options of what it could be. Let's find out, shall we? Just like the titular character, the British sci-fi series Doctor Who regenerated itself with a new run of episodes beginning in 2005. That's a fair comment. Fine, they're not wrong there. For a show that started in 1963, its fan base is remarkably alive and kicking. Well, that's very true, because, you know, I honestly, the basic message of Doctor Who is be who you are, be who you want to be. Don't let other people define you, and find joy in yourself, right? Be true to yourself and find joy in yourself. That's what, because the Doctor is essentially the ultimate outsider, the ultimate iconoclastic outsider. And I think if you're an outsider, you relate to him on that level, right? You relate to, and I think honestly, it could have worked with a woman if they just acknowledged what the character was, but they didn't. They had to change the character, in my opinion, quite dramatically into a really, how would I just a conformist, one of the Twitterati, and a coward. It's just terrible. It's the absolute opposite of what Doctor Who should be, but in my opinion, which is why. But that's why I think it's done very, very, very badly with the public, because you can say whatever you want about anything, right? You can say whatever you want about, look at politics, right? They say, no, the inflation's transitory. Inflation's a good thing. Inflation isn't happening. Gas prices aren't our fault. No, you can say whatever you want. At the end of the day, someone's going to say, don't take a dump on my porch and tell me it's chocolate, mate. Reality is reality, and reality is hitting the bloody narrative. Remarkably alive and kicking. Still watching the series that completely changes its cast every few seasons. Yeah, that's why it's still around. However, there are plenty of episodes that haven't hit that sweet spot of time travel and alien action the show is known for. I think all of them since Jodie Whittaker first show. Yeah, all of them, right? The season 12 episode, Orphan 55, begins with the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, and her companions in an all-inclusive resort. And that resort looked kind of crap, I have to tell you. I've been to nice hotels. It didn't look that great to me, frankly. Where they meet an old couple, mechanic father and son. Oh, God, yeah. You forget the details, right? You forget how unbelievably bad it is, right? You forget, you know what I should do? I should really do this. So I do these recaps and reviews for Star Trek as they're on. I was doing them for Doctor Who as well, where I just take lots of screen grabs and go over the story. I should do this for Orphan 55. Oh my God, could you forget how utterly awful it is? It just gets washed away in its closing awfulness. No, there was awfulness all the way through it. Mechanic father and son with green hair, an unemployed woman, and the results 3-person staff. Yeah, a dog woman. Everything about it was bad, right? Everything about this was bad. Of course, since this is Doctor Who and not anime, this is no simple Spa Day episode. I'm not really into anime. They don't have a Spa Day episode in anime. How's that entertaining? I don't know. Look, people love anime, and look, I don't get it. People love camping. I don't get it. I mean, really, I like going to a 5-star hotel and being waited on hand and foot. That I like. Yeah, that's nice. But it's sleeping in the forest in a tiny little what's the word I'm thinking? A tiny little capsule of canvas. Yeah, no, I'm not up for that at all. I like the staff, right? I like the roof. I like the rules. All those things are very important to me. Of course, since this is not anime, a virus infects the resort systems, revealing it's on a wasteland planet, and letting in creepy, bloodthirsty monsters called dregs. Even the name of the monster, dregs, is useless, right? Is so useless. Although this show is based on time travel, it's not some complex plot or paradoxes that's confusing fans, but rather the creative choices that went into making the episode. Dude, have you seen The Last Jedi? The Last Jedi is a movie where every creative decision is wrong. Like, literally every creative decision is wrong in The Last Jedi. Orphan 55 has too much going on, and none of it good. It goes downhill in the second half. It goes downhill in its first minute, right? Is that the one where they had Ryan sucking his thumb? Hey, man, they have cucked that man. No wonder Tosin Cole got out as soon as he could. To find the lost old man, the group ventures out of the resort and loses a few people and gets stranded with little oxygen supply. Then the old couple gets engaged but dies. Is the old couple Benny when she ran around going, Benny! Benny! Oh, God, it was so bad. Man, I should really relive this, right? I should really relive this because it's worth saying this is how bad Doctor Who was. Because, I don't think it's fair to let us forget it. Gets in going, but he dies. The father refuses to listen to his son until he does. Oh, and the woman declares she's the abandoned daughter of the resort owner and has sabotaged the resort to get back at her. Okay, well, that makes sense. Plus, we learn this is Earth post. The whole point was we learned this is post-climate disaster, and the dregs are evolved from humans. To put it bluntly, there's a lot going on. Of course, that's made it a popular topic amongst fans. Nobody likes to talk about it. Okay, this is not one we go, oh yeah. No one likes to talk about it. Redditor, you framed 1234. Brought it up on Doctor Who forum, writing, I just watched Orphan 55 for the first time, and what the hell is going on in this episode? It's quite simple what's going on. They wanted to have a climate change episode where the Doctor is stunning and brave and stands against climate change and they show the horrors of not listening to the science. Let me tell you, anybody who calls anything scientific the science is full of doo-doo, okay? Absolutely full of crap. There is no the science. I mean, there are, I guess, okay, the science was, generally speaking, having a penis made you male and a vagina made you female. That was the science, right? That was the universally agreed on science up until, 5 years ago when we needed to progress and whatever, I understand. But, there is no the science. And most of the science comes from very manipulated data to make political points. I mean, I don't know what the truth is about climate change. Right? I'm a Bible-thumping religious person, and I think the apocalypse is coming quite a bit before then, and without the need of climate change. But I really don't know. I really don't know if the claims are true. I believe that the claim that 99% of scientists all agree we got 40 minutes left to live before the world is whatever, the bollocks they always say, and they're always proved wrong over and over and over and over and over again, right? We've only got 9 years left, we've only got 4 years left, whatever, right, and it might all be true. I don't bloody know, I don't know, but I do know the 99% of scientists no, I believe, because I haven't got an interviewed 99% of scientists, but I believe the 99% scientists claim was because the way you get funding within the sciences is to say something that's politically helpful. And what's politically helpful is the climate change message. And that's why the 99% of the people surveyed go, oh, yes, that thing you're paying me for to say, yes, I will say that quite openly and happily. Right. The whole point of it was because you love Greta Thunberg and you loved her going, how dare you? Or it made you feel like she was chastising those evil white men, the evil patriarchy. How dare you? That was basically her shouting at Trump. Oh, it was so good. The fact that she was suffers from many severe mental, I won't say illnesses, mental psychological complaints, including random muteness when asked a question she doesn't like. Well, no, she's a child. You cannot. Well, she's 18 now, and now she's just kind of like. And you've kind of forgot about her, right? Because she's such a freaking embarrassment. But that's what this episode was about. To go, oh, let's be stunning and brave and make Greta proud. Oh, Wiki Thump. Oh, you can save planets or you can wreck them. Does any of this coming back to you yet? It's so bad. The question, what's going on? The question, the point of, they question the point of having so many different plot lines. Because it's just they don't know what they're doing, right? And they knew we got to say you can wreck planets or you can save them. They thought that was going to be a doctory moment. No, she hasn't had a definitive Doctor moment. And they thought, well, if we put all the other stuff in, it'll make our political platforming less obvious, right? Nah. Still very obvious. They thought that they thought surely there's no way the planet designated Orphan 55 would actually be Earth because that would be too obvious. Of course, that's exactly what happened. Yes. User the Cool Cat 1995. Well, I'm glad. I hope you're a cool cat, baby. Had an answer for the question about what's going on. A beautiful, beautiful train wreck. Please tell me more. I'm intrigued. Also, several users agree on the episode having too many side characters. They don't explain how it's a beautiful, beautiful train wreck. I agree with the train wreck. Not sure how it's beautiful unless you want to gloat. Did we really need this incredibly weak arc where the father doesn't let his son do the work but then does? It's all supposed to demonstrate the change in character, but nothing really happened for him to allow it. Some fans call it the worst episode of Doctor Who. Well, it was. I mean, for me, it was. This was the one where I would have stopped watching if it wasn't for this channel, right? And this was the one that broke me. But I don't know. I think Can You Hear Me is probably a worse episode a few episodes later. And of course, the universally loathed Timeless Children. Just thought it was garbage, right? Like, honestly, by that point, I didn't view it as Doctor Who, so I couldn't really gauge it. But this time, this is where I thought of it as Doctor Who, even begrudgingly, and no. In fact, before this season started, again, go and look at my videos, right? There's a video that I did called Why I'm Ready to Have My Heart Broken Again by Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who, when it's before his second season starts. Maybe they're going to turn it around, maybe they're going to, because I really wanted them to. No, they didn't. Did we really incredibly over the father? Something got worse episode Doctor Who. Plenty criticised Doctor's on-the-nose speech about how humans need to stop the climate change. You can wreck planets or you can save them. Perhaps the harshest comment comes from Harkinator Sharp. I wish I could forget Auckland 55. That's harder than it sounds. Well, it is. So it's hard to ignore the absolute hatred of this era of Doctor Who, right? How it's absolutely failed. So I think the main reason, one of the main reasons it's failed is the storytelling in it. They're very bad at it. They don't know how to do it. They know how to have dramatic mic drop moments. I think people like dramatic mic drop moments, like the Timeless Children, right? So now what they're going to do next is go, oh yeah, Doctor Who's always done that. Always done this complete genre law-changing stuff. Always. And the only time you hated it was when it's done with a woman, right? And they don't even say it there, but that is the implication that they are making, right? So that's this next article we're going to look at over at, where is it? What Culture? 10 huge moments in Doctor Who that nobody cared about. And again, we know you're talking about the Timeless Children. That's why you got the Morbius Doctors up here. Sometimes huge things happen in the universe and end up meaning absolutely nothing. So I think this is them saying, don't worry, Rusty Davies is coming back. We're going to retcon this all away. But at the same time, they want to say, oh, this is totally normal. Totally normal. This is fine. Yeah, that's essentially the message. As the series tries to progress since its debut in 1963, Doctor Who has had more of its fair share of huge moments. Okay, let's go through it, right? Huge moments in Doctor Who. Well, the first episode, obviously, when they're in a police box and it suddenly ends up in somewhere else. But that was creating genre. So maybe when you met the meddling monk for the first time, there was somebody else from his race, but we knew he wasn't somebody who just invented the TARDIS. Regeneration, I guess, was a major Lord defining moment, not changing moment. The introduction of the Time Lords at the end of Troughton's run, and then again, I think the reimagining of them in Deadly Assassin. To essentially, it's Robert Holmes wanting to do the Manchurian Candidate, right? But other than that, since then, I don't think there's been any huge lore-changing moments until. I think it's probably set in stone by then. I mean, yeah, you got the introduction of Rassilon. It's not lore changing to learn about the game of Rassilon, the Five Doctors, right? I don't think it was lore addition, but not changing. I mean, they're gonna put a few in this, but. I think the biggest one, the only one after this, was the introduction of the War Doctor. And again, it didn't contradict Doctor Who. It added to it. Again, much like everything had did before. Until you got to the China Children, that actually contradicted everything. So no, I mean the only real contradictions I can think of is the unit dating based around dating question from Mordred Undead. I mean that wasn't done on purpose. Anyway, so let's read this list. They won't say, "Oh, it's always been going on all the time." With 15 so far actors taking up the mantle of the titular Time Lord. 15. 1 second. Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann. What are we going to say? Shall we say John Hurt yet? No. Okay, fine. John Hurt, Christopher Eccleston, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi. That's 12. That's 12. Even with Jodie and and Doctor Who, that's 14. Let's go for it. Wait. What am I missing? We have Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, Baker, Davison, Baker, McCoy, McGann, John Hurt, Christopher Eccleston. David Tennant! Sorting out, is that David Tennant, Matt Smith, Capaldi, and I guess you're counting Doctor Who. Okay, fine. Let's call it 13, really. Okay, whatever. Acting on the mantle of the Time Lord, each goes through their own adventures, adding to their incarnations' personal stories, as well as the larger story of the Time Lords and those around them. Okay, everyone has their own personal favorite, but some events are literally entrenched in the DNA of the show. Huge moments who include the first landing on Skaro. No, it's not a huge landing in Doctor Who. Other than it saved Doctor Who, right? If it wasn't for that Dalek story, we would not be talking about Doctor Who now. That's pretty much clear. The Doctor's exile on Earth in the War Games didn't... Again, they didn't contradict the past, right? The fighting the Time War, but again, I just think that showed what happened in the 15 or so years we missed the Time War, and also a good reset button to be able to start over. The Fall of Levels and Trenzlor was not a WTF moment at all. I'm sorry, and having lasting consequences of the universe with the characters within it. But sometimes these huge moments don't stick. We bear witness to many revelations in one story, but then the following week it meant very little, and the development is unwritten, forgotten about, or simply replaced by something totally different. So here are 10 huge moments in Doctor Who that no one cared about. For the sake of consistency, this is limited to the TV series, so no expanded media editions. What's happened in the stat expanded? What has Big Finish done that good? Oh no, let's change it. What, Zagreus? Really? I guess we kind of forgot about Zagreus. It's kind of good, though. I like Zagreus. I did like the story. I like the idea of it. The cliffhanger, where they introduced Zagreus, was very good. It was the end of McGann's second season on in Big Finish, and at the end of it, he had transmuted into the ultimate Time Lord villain Zagreus, which was and then it just went when it went to the 50th story, and just like, oh well, that was a bit disappointing. The Doctor, Lord President of Gallifrey. Well, he is off and on, but it's not. Again, this wasn't meant to change the law, right? This is a tricky one. Lord President of Gallifrey is the highest level of office amongst Time Lord society, and once or twice the Doctor has found himself raised that position. In 5 classic stories, including Gallifrey, starting with Deadly Assassin, Doctor goes from running for president, but declining at the end, to coming back the following season to take the role to defeat a foe before returning in his next incarnation, find he's no longer president. Yeah, I have to tell you, what's the one? There was a good Peter Davison Big Finish story where he goes to where he goes to Gallifrey and finds out he's not president with Tegan. That was a good one. I can't remember the name of it. That was one of the last good ones they did. It's been a long time in that main range. Then being offered it again at the 20th anniversary, it was a cute pantomime walk down ending, which John Nathan Turner happened to like, and me too, quite frankly. But still runs from the responsibility. The Doctor makes one final return to Gallifrey in season 23. The Sixth Doctor is met with a line: "Since your willful negligence and responsibility of your great office, you were deposed, resetting this moment once again." Okay, because it wasn't supposed to be the big deal, right? So whilst this does pop up often on a classic era, this and is touched on in Hellbent, the presidency of the Doctor is never actually explored. Okay, again, that was that Big Finish release. I wish I could remember it. Besides the odd expanded media story. Hello, Big Finish. Okay, fine, we're talking about the same thing then. And the thread comes and goes when the Doctor revisits Gallifrey, depending on the story and the writers. Okay, the Doctor as Lord President is a big deal. No, but never seems to carry any weight beyond the story. Surely President Doctor will be a great storyline and fleshed out beyond one outing. Although maybe a little tricky now. Not really, because nothing happened now matters. I think if you want to see what it was like fleshed out, the BBC novel, when they took over from the Virgin novels, you had the Infinity Doctors, which was essentially a McGann Doctor who stayed on Gallifrey and became the president there. Which was okay. I think that's probably one of the best versions of it. Number 9, the death of the Master again. Well, the Master does die quite often. That is true. We all know the Master, the Moriarty of the to the Doctor's homes. This was always his intention during his original conception in the 70s. And like the Doctor, we've had a fair share of incarnations. But unlike our titular Time Lord, we barely see these regenerations taking place on screen because it's called Doctor Who. It's not called Master. Return taken on screen. Although I have to tell you again, Big Finish's War Master series. Freaking excellent, right? There's a couple of duff sets in them, but mostly freaking excellent. It was Derek Jacobi, it's very, very good. But unlike our titular Time Lord, we barely see the generation. Sometimes they're simply left believing the Master is dead. A common thread in the story in the 1980s especially was their appearance would often end with the death before reappearing a few stories down the line inexplicably. Looking at you, Planet of Fire. This is so Planet of Fire 2, Mark of the Rani, wasn't it? I think so. Looking at this season 21 story sees the Alien Master literally burning down to nothing as the Doctor is just watching on. However, the following season, Mark of the Rani, yeah, I got it right. Just the same incarnation turn up with no real explanation. At that point, I didn't think you really needed it. Right? I honestly, the rule when writing a soap opera is if it's 6 months ago, it didn't happen. It's ancient history and nobody remembers it. And I think that's kind of a similar rule they had in the 80s anyway, we were writing Doctor Who. However, the following seasons, the trope returned in New Who in the first 3 storylines, including The Master, Saxon, End of Time, and Death in Heaven, all ending with the death of the character. Well, not really. I mean, the Saxon art ended with his like mysterious ring being picked up, like at the end of Flash Gordon, right? Titus, I am bored. Find me a plaything. Man, Flash Gordon is one of the most porny kids movies ever made. I would just want to remind you, the first thing that Ming does when he meets the Earthmen of Flash Gordon, Professor Zarkov, and Del Arden? Is that his name? I can't remember. The Femme Fatale was put a sex ray on her to make her super horny. Now, again, if I was writing it, I don't think I would do that because it's like I would enjoy that too much. I bet it would make me laugh too much. But like that was literally what happened. Okay, go watch it again. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, so like, we got these new prisoners, first contact. What's the first thing we can do? I'll bring up the sex ray. Yeah, bring up the super horny sex ray. Maybe they should do that more in Doctor Who. I don't know. I tell you, if I could get any technology from any science fiction or genre story, I think I might go for the Ming ring, the Ming sex ray horny ring, the Ming sex ray beam of horniness. Right? That's what I would go for. And of course, I wouldn't misuse it at all. No. Honestly, what I do, I would use it on my wife. Okay, that's basically where I'm basically fine. Okay, I don't need to go any further. I'm not sure how pleased you would be. I think she'll be okay. Okay, she'll be fine. I don't use the Ming sex ray horny beam. She would be so happy. You got to think about these things in context. Okay, fine. All ending with the death of the character, which I guess, honestly, that's what would happen. If I used the Ming sex ray horny beam on my wife, it would end with my death. All ending with the death of the character. However, two of these occasions will actually provide reasons for the return, though both resurrections are very handy last-minute teleports. Really? I can't remember. End of time? It wasn't a teleport. He wasn't. At the end of time, he stayed to battle Rassilon, allowing the Doctor to get free or something, or beat back. But it wasn't said he was killed. It was just went into battle, and then they explained it. Said, that made me better. now I've grown a goatee. Fine. Where are we? So there was no last-minute teleport there. It's an endearing character trait that we don't always need the exposition of how the Master survives each encounter, but when the death of the character becomes so casual, you start to wonder why the writers bother. And realistically, all major fans know they will not properly call it quits on such a bankable villain after one appearance, leading to the lack of caring towards the stakes. But listen, it's not made for the fans; it's made for the normies. Okay, the normies make the show work, right? Make the show successful. Time Lord Victorious. Now, excuse me. Time Lord Victorious was a minute idea, forgotten within minutes. They resurrected for this transmedia event, which they then screwed up like so badly. This could have been huge, right? This Time Lord Victorious could have been freaking huge. The way they did it was so stupid, so unbelievably stupid. Oh, and it was a good story at its center, right? It was a great story, but they just screwed it up. 2009 Waters of Mars is regarded as one of Tennant's finest hours. Nah, I don't mind it, but one of his finest hours? I don't know. What will be one of Tennant's finest hours? I think Journey's End, honestly. That when they're all coming, they're dragging Earth back. They're all around the time. I'm a big softie, so I like that. What can I tell you? And it was some major ramification for the council, but guess what? It doesn't. It doesn't go beyond the story. It doesn't go beyond the story. The end of the Waters of Mars has a Dr. Clare himself, Time Lord Victorious, the last survivor of the race, and gaining godlike complex when it comes to the laws of time. However, after changing time and saving the last few residents of Bowie Base 1, one member, Adelaide Brooke, does not believe this is right. Returning home, she kills herself, setting time back on course, leaving the Doctor to wonder if he gone too far. Not wonder, he said, I've gone too far, right? I've gone too far. Whatever. By the next episode, the end of time, the seemingly huge moment is totally forgotten about. Yes, it's 2020 saw a massive multi-expanded media story exploring the moments after this. But in the show, the moment the 10th Doctor almost became character to a god is swiftly moved on from. Yes, because it was not something they should have dwelled on, right? This entry is a real shame that it's glossed over. It would provide a fascinating new dimension of the show. The Time Lord Victorious is almost like an anti-hero arc. It is an anti-hero arc where the 10th Doctor is doing what he believes is right. It actually goes against everything he and the time. Yeah, it was a good idea. They screwed it up. I'm sorry. What do you want to make? The Flux, finally, they slide in a Chibnall card in there. Note what thing they don't put in this. Okay, that's the point, right? And again, generally speaking, when you want to see a country trip, don't look at what you want to look at. Our country trick is being done, I should say. Don't look at what you're being directed to. Look at what you're being directed away from. So they had to mention something from Chibnall, didn't they? Okay. Jodie and Chibnall's tenure in control of the TARDIS is not yet over. There's still room to rectify this, but right now, the hugely glossed over plot point from Series 13. Which one? There were so many glossed over plot points in Series 13. Are we talking about her genocide? For the first time in New Whom, Series 13 embarked on one interconnecting serialized story arc. Well, 6 episodes, and I guess, End of Time was 3 episodes, wasn't it? And the Master arc was 3 episodes. A refreshing change that updates to the style of the modern series. The series focus on the titular Flux, a huge apocalyptic event. I changing the structure of the show for this season was a good idea, right? And I don't listen when somebody does something that's not awful, who's been doing something awful. I think it's fair to say it. I mean, Star Trek Picard right now, 2 episodes in, I haven't had to phone Suicide Hotline once, right? They're sitting by the phones, waiting for the calls as soon as Star Trek Picard airs, and they're like, it's strangely quiet. What happened? Did they not put out Star Trek Picard? No, they just made a bit of effort and tried to make it kind of like Star Trek. Who'd have thought, right? Who'd have thought that would be a way to go? The series they focus on the titular Flux, a huge apocalyptic moment in time and space, designed as a hurricane ripping through the structure of the universe. Pretty cool, right? Doctor Who is going to be pretty bold here. Well, obviously, being a show which isn't entirely break, the Doctor and co stop Flux. But they do it in such a stupid way. It doesn't make any sense. After it wipes out the combined forces of the Dalek, Cybermen, and Sontaras. After Jodie Whittaker's Doctor throws them in the path of the Flux to be eaten up by it. And finally, when it absorbed by Passenger, the passengers were endless space intended to hold prisoners in a vast space within, seemingly enough to extinguish the chaos. Fair enough, but what about all the destruction? No, they didn't really mention that at all. Again, Passenger, I thought there was a lot of elements in Flux that weren't bad, right? Unfortunately, the elements that were bad was Jodie Whittaker, Mandy and Chris Chibnall, But yeah, the Swarm, Azure, Passenger, I liked all that stuff. Time was awful. The Planet of Time, the Temple of Atropos, all that was crap. But some bits weren't bad. What do you want me to tell you? Azure states the Ravagers would restore the universe after the final Flux event, but did that happen? No, they didn't. They said they're going to a different universe. Didn't they? And then season 13 is a little vague and confusing. After what comes next, either Daleks is barely mentioned. The Daleks know a considerable amount about it as their fleet was destroyed, not entirely as we're originally led to believe. And Dan mentions how the Doctor saved the universe. But is that it? Do we just gloss over the events that occurred? For now, yes. I think for now and forever. Doctor is Merlin. This was not a mic drop moment. This was not a WTF moment. This was an intriguing setup about what the Doctor becomes in the future. And if you read the book, which is excellent, right? It's really a good one, written by Ben Aronovich, and it's a short one. So you can read it probably in an afternoon. There's a great pre-title sequence when you see a future red-headed Malcolm McLaren-esque Doctor who is Merlin, right? And I love that, right? But it was supposed to... This was like the Morbius Doctors. It was supposed to add a little bit of flavour, a little bit of mystery. Not meant to, go change everything you knew about it. No. Sylvester McCoy's Seventh Doctor is renowned for going from the clown-like buffoon in the first season. Well, I'm not sure. So, I mean, listen, he didn't really know what he was doing with it. He basically found out what Doctor Who was at the same time Andrew Cartmel did, and by the time they got to their second season, wow, they worked it out, and it's freaking awesome. All right, freaking awesome. I still like season 24 now. I mean, after I got the Blu-ray of it and I rewatched it and reevaluated it, it's fun. Okay, look, Paradise Towers, not very good. Every time the Rani, I'm watching it, I'm seeing what they wanted to do, right? And it was nearly there. It was kind of like Doctor Who Flux, right? If they had the same budget as Flux for season 24, I think it would have worked. To becoming a great schemer, his final adventures using companion Ace as a pawn. There's a great bit in Battlefield, right, where they talk about Ace being a pawn, and he says, "I'm not playing chess, I'm playing poker, and I have an ace up my sleeve." That was just a great line. I really, really like that line. As part of 89 introduced the idea the Doctor at some point in his life will be the man behind the myth Merlin. As Merlin, the Doctor would help Arthur fight Sorceress Morgaine, shown above the thumbnail, with a bit of G. Marsh being awesome. G. Marsh in some very sexy body armour. For some weird reason. I'm like, okay. I mean, you do know she was like, what, in her 50s, 60s at this point, and looking pretty darn fit. I mean, again, it's all body armour, but okay, whatever. I tell you, what would happen if you used the Ming sex horny ray on I'll do it on Upstairs Downstairs G Marsh, not on Morgaine to you. No, Sarah Kingdom G Marsh. Sorry, the Avengers thing works for me. I like the boots. What do you want out of me? Where are we? As the Doctor has no memory of being Merlin, we assume it must be a fate that'll occur later in life. We've had plots with the Doctor being woven into various histories, occasionally arriving somewhere before this in the timeline, but the legend of Merlin is quite a big position to fill. Sadly, season 26, the Doctor's final season, with both the TV movie and New Who providing reboots. So whether this would be developed further in season 20... No, we may never know. No, I'll let you know. No, it wasn't. No, they were totally forgotten about. Therefore, the idea goes nowhere. It's not meant to go anywhere. The concept has been followed in expanded media in various different ways, but on screen, not really. I mean, you've got the Shadows of Avalon, the Paul Cornell book, which are the alternate universe where the Brigadier ends up becoming king. But that's about it. Fine, we have Daleks without the Doctor. Well, that's been going on for a while. What's this one? We've got the Asylum of the Daleks, which, controversial opinion, I quite like. I have to tell you, I quite like Asylum of the Daleks. Asylum of the Daleks gives us the first introduction to Gemma Coleman in who... Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a bit of a, not a mic drop moment, but like a record scratch moment. And she's like, what? Whoa, how come she's here? Playing Oswin Oswald, who's seemingly connected to the future companion Clara Oswald. However, in the end, it's revealed that poor Oswin has been converted into a Dalek. Yeah, this is a great bit of Moffat writing. As a last gift to the 11th Doctor to escape, she reveals to him that she removed every trace of him from the Dalek database, allowing him to escape the asylum. I forgot about that. Upon making it back to the Dalek Parliament, we are left with the final knowledge that all the Daleks have forgotten him, not just those in the asylum, leaving the question, Doctor Who? Okay, I don't remember that, but okay. So with that ending, surely the next appearance of the Doctor versus the Daleks is a Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who that's obviously going to happen. It's going to be pretty interesting. Wrong. The next appearance of the Daleks, barring the 50th anniversary appearance in the Time Warp, which happened before that, is the time of the Doctor. And once again, the Daleks remember their arch nemesis. We can say it's from a different point in their history. When asked by the Doctor how they knew who he was, we get the convenient explanation. They took memories from Tasha Lem, a character we only just introduced in that episode, who was apparently significant enough to provide the Daleks with everything they need on the Doctor. I know, okay. In the end, it feels lazy to write the ending of the Sign of the Daleks than to simply do a 180 as soon as they reappear. Yeah, okay, fine. But again, that wasn't designed to redefine what the show was, right? Which again, they're doing this to make cover for the timeless children. This is something that makes when it's retconned away forever. This ain't that gives cover to the timeless children. I'm half human on my mother's side, so this one is a real problem, right? Totally forgotten about. Maybe he was lying. Maybe he was half human in that incarnation. We don't know what he was talking about. This was like abandoned in the Fox American version of Doctor Who. That never happened. Love it or hate it, the 96 movie did one thing absolutely perfect. The casting of Paul McGann as the Doctor. Nearly didn't happen. They who was the guy? Saint Gokum, I think was his name. The Americans wanted this unknown actor, while was it Alan Yentob said, no, we got to have a name. There's got to be a name, and he was absolutely right. And it did very well in the United Kingdom, didn't it? But one major actor character has not been taken too seriously. I'm half human on my mother's side, as a comment made various times throughout the American-produced special. One time! Now, that's pretty huge. It is pretty huge. And it was meant. This was a soft reboot of the show, right? Even though he regenerated directly from McCoy, which I really kind of liked. Not a lot is ever really discovered about the Doctor's past in the classic series. The only family member we are introduced to is granddaughter Susan in one of the first seasons of the first episode of the show. But otherwise, it's assumed that the Doctor is 100% Time Lord. Okay. Of course, once again, the Chibnall has decided to add its own spin on the character's origins. Noticeably absent from this list, isn't it? Noticeably absent from the list. But even before the retconning in 2020, the half-human comment never really was taken as gospel. It's a storyline that could have worked properly, but almost feels too cliche, with no follow-up to the TV movies. We'll maybe never know his intentions. There's so much you could say. He just regenerate or whatever. Both Russell T Davies and Moffat have mentioned before they don't truly believe into it. I think what you want to say, with another widely believed theory of whom the Doctor's mother is being the nameless woman at the end of time. Well, that's what Russell T Davies said she was. This monumental moment for the show. But after the TV movie is pushed aside, many talk about the post-regenerative trauma, as I just did, literally here. Maybe the lineage should be left alone, keeping the mystery in Doctor Who. Oh, is that a little dig at the Timeless Children? Because that's as close as we're going to get. Morbius Doctor, talking about digs at the Timeless Children. Yes, as significant as the Doctor being Merlin, i.e. not at all. So yes, every time I mention the Morbius Doctors, my favourite explanation for it is these are all phantom incarnations conjured by the Fourth Doctor during his mind-bending tournament to defeat Morbius. Right? That is absolutely. Or it could be the Morbius Doctors. There's a lot of different people. It's essentially the production team in a bunch of different clobber. Right? That's Robert Holmes in a wig. Okay. In 1976, Brain and Morbius, during the mind battle with the titular villain, it's revealed the Doctor had faces before the Hartnell incarnation. Did fandom go mental? What did this mean for the series going forward after the shock reveal? Not a lot, because it was a throwaway bit of fun to add a bit of mystery, and that was it. Morons who can't write. Why are we surprised that they don't understand writing if they are morons that can't write? Granted, this potentially means a lot more now in 2022 with the Timeless Child plot. Again, weirdly absent from this list, right? Weirdly absent from this list. But in 1976, it meant nothing in the show to fans, really. It could be anything, right? I'm just giving you a much better explanation. It's a widely known fact that New Who is definitely a lot more plot-heavy than lore heavy than classic. Well, it's a lot older, and in 76, it was 13 years old. It didn't have the weight of its history around it at that point. It was still it was basically, imagine if it just started in 2005, right? It's a relatively new show, right? It's not really like an established show, but it doesn't matter, right? 50 years in, it matters. Bloody hell. Again, none of this is hard. These are the questions you'd ask somebody when they've been in a car crash to see if they got a concussion of some sort. The new are definitely a lot more blah, 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 blah. Which some of which we'll get into later on. We only got 2 more to go. The Morbius Doctors are brought to life on screen by members of the production team dressed up in classic outfits, meant to boost up the scope of the Doctor and the Morbius mind battles. These incarnations were portrayed by directors Graham Harper, Douglas Camp, and Christopher Barry, as well as Robert Holmes and producer Philip Hinchcliffe. Some fans believe these incarnations were Morbius rather than the Doctor. However, this seems to have been proven wrong since. Not really. No. Again, if you take Jodie Whittaker's canon, you might be able to tie it together. Most of us don't, mate. Most of us take Jodie Whittaker's era the same way we take the Doctor being human, half human on his mother's side. Yes, we now have the wonderful Joe Martin, who we are currently led to believe is a pre-Hartnell Doctor, and a brilliant montage of timeless children, all of them straightly not white and male. Was that on purpose, you think? Strange coincidence. But before these chaps had no acknowledgement in canon. Exactly. Besides maybe being considered a gag. It was a gag. More Doctors should be huge events, as the War Doctor and the Future Doctors were. But it's taken 44 years. Well, the War Doctor was, the Fugitive Doctor wasn't. The 44 years for their true potential, meaning to come to screen. Yeah, again, forget it. It's not real, okay? It's as real as half human on his mother's side. The Valeyard. So this was a legitimate mic drop moment, but it's the same awful writing that affected Chibnall, thinking that revelation equals story. It doesn't. Although, having said that, the idea of what the Valeyard was, I liked a lot. I think it was very interesting. And again, big finish. Their Valeyard story is freaking awesome. There's the Trial of the Valeyard is very good. The Last Adventure, which is Colin Baker's regeneration story, excellent. And again, Michael Jason, whenever he's in, absolutely, he's got wonderful voice, right? Just so wasted. The Trial of a Time Lord. The Sixth Doctor receives a mixed bag reviews from fans, but his final story drops a bombshell to rock the character to the core. The Trial of the Time Lord sees the Doctor put on trial for his exploits throughout time, and being prosecuted by Time Lord referred to as the Valeyard. As the series comes to a head, the Master returns inexplicably and reveals he knows the Valeyard as the Doctor. The Valeyard is an amalgam of all your darker sides of your nature, somewhere between your 12th and final incarnation. I thought the 12th one was the final. Okay, whatever. 13th. So okay. So I always took that to mean, as he's regenerating, he has a moment where he he flickers into the Valeyard when he's considering all the evil, and they grabbed him out of that moment in time, right? That's what I gathered, right? But again, that's my headcanon. However you thought of it is however you thought of it. Final incarnation. So surely something exciting must happen with this character next. An evil incarnation Doctor, surely a big deal for our hero. Nope. And if you want to see it explored, big finish, Doctor Who Unbound, he jests at Scars. Freaking awesome. Oh my God. That one, I think that's one of their best releases. Really love that one. And I'm not going to spoil it at all. Just tell you, it's freaking awesome. Whilst the Doctor goes on to play various parts in expanded media, the Valeyard only appears in season 23 and is briefly mentioned in Capaldi's final story. Really? I don't remember that. As a premise, the Valeyard is a really interesting idea. So much potential, especially since after David Tennant's second incarnation, the Valeyard is meant to come about. David Tennant's second incarnation? whatever. When written in 86, the intention was the Doctor to have 13 lives, and this between Tennant and Smith. However, since the time of the Doctor's lifespan has been expanded, and now he has a full cycle of possibilities. Hopefully, he's too bloody old. You're not gonna. I mean, he's great, but he's too bloody old. Hopefully, this is one moment which will eventually be addressed as seeing what happens. You've already seen it. It's okay. He's a phantom Doctor. He's not a real one. When all the darkness of the Doctor takes form is a real treat. But for now, this other moment no one cared about. Again, you want to hear what it's like? Go get... I think it's cheap as well. He jests at Scars. It's got Bonnie Langford and Michael Jackson in it. It's one of the older ones. So the older ones are always cheap. It's really good. It's really, really good. Gallifrey returns! Well, I guess they're not talking about the time in the Moffat era. I think it's the time when they destroyed it in the Chibnall era. Let's have a look. Number one. Again, did you notice what they left out of this? Yeah, the Timeless Children. The Planet of the Time Lords has been part of the show's history since the late 60s, with later seasons fleshing out the planet's society and people. But turn to New Who, and Gallifrey is gone, wiped out in the Time War. That is until the 50th anniversary, when it was saved. So surely now Gallifrey is back in the staple in the universe. Think again. Series 9 Hellbent marks our first proper exploration of the Doctor on Gallifrey, with the planet being stuck at the end of the universe, but very much there. However, the next time we see Gallifrey, Season 12 Spyfall, there's been reduced to a smouldering wreck. One of the many reasons we don't like it. Yes, the shot in Spyfall is beautiful. Not really. But after the work of the 50th, the 11th Doctor's last stand of Trenzalore, the Arc of the Series 9, Gallifrey and the Time Lords are once again taken from us. Again, forget it. It's not real. I mean, none of it's real, obviously. Some may argue the Time Lords as a species aren't that interesting. Go to other Big Finish Gallifrey series. Yeah, I kind of petered out with me. But if you want to prove that it's not interesting, go listen to Gallifrey. I think probably it's a bit, like now I'm out of it. I go, well, it's kind of not that exciting, is it? Basically, what the Gallifrey series seems like is a really cool backdrop. It'll be better if they put the Doctor in it. But there's so much potential. Another monumental U-turn makes you question the point of the point of the build-up to return it, if not to be explored. It's written by Chibnall. He's a useless hack, of course. There's every chance Gallifrey and the Time Lords are restored once again. This could be useful for the Timeless Child arc since it's literally its foundations. But now the return of Gallifrey feels like a meaningless waste of time, which is one of the reasons that the Chibnall era has not gone down well. So there we go, 2 articles showing what happens. Showing what happens when narrative hits reality. First, like, oh yeah, no, we've always hated it. We're what with you, mate. I mean, really, have you seen how like the mainstream media is turning on Biden? They went back to him a little bit now during Ukraine, but they like how much he's hated. That sitting and like, oh yeah, no, he's a disaster. Yeah, I understand. You're trying to appeal to the masses, not very successfully. Because we remember more than 2 weeks ago, right? Reality is hitting narrative. So firstly we go, oh no, it's always been that way. And secondly we go, no, it's not. We've always hated just like you. And of course, they're all lying. They're all icky-wicky fibbers, right? They're all lying all the time. I think that's basically one of the things that we learned from COVID, right? That a lot of people who told us they told the truth lie all the time. I think that's the basic takeaway we can all agree on. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.